Hello and welcome to our webinar, The Funnel of Love, From Attraction to Happily Ever After. I am Eva Jackson. I'm the Demand Gen Marketing Manager here at PFL, and I'm excited to be joined today by Nida Chughtai, VP of Marketing at Mintigo, and Jason Yarborough, Director of Strategic Alliances here at PFL. Before we get started, just a couple of quick housekeeping items. You may use your computer, speakers, or phone to listen in, but all attendees will be in listen-only mode. Today's webinar will be recorded and emailed out to attendees at the conclusion of the event. And if there are any questions, please use the chat box on GoToWebinar to send those to our speakers, and we'll answer them at the end of the session or via email after the webinar. Before we turn things over, I'm going to give a quick overview of our speakers today. Nida Chughtai leads the marketing efforts at Mintigo. She brings over a decade of experience running marketing programs, managing marketing operations, and driving growth at SaaS and technology companies. Prior to her current role, she managed marketing operations at Newstar, where she was a Mintigo customer and practitioner. She is passionate about helping companies successfully implement predictive in their systems and workflows, measuring and analyzing results, and enabling marketers and sellers to drive more business with predictive insights derived from AI. Our other speaker today is Jason Yarborough, better known as Yarby. He is the Director of Strategic Alliances at PFL.com. He has a fervent love of coffee, dogs, and his wife Samantha, and their new son, who arrives somewhere around June 24th, so just in a few weeks, with a serious weakness for new experiences, travel, marketing, and people. He's right at home as a MarTech evangelist. You can find him online at Yarby. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Yarby. So take it away.
Thanks, Eva. Our goal here today is to help you take your customers to that utopian land of happily ever after. We're talking about taking your customers from that initial engagement point to long-term relationships, right? But before we can get to that place, that land of utopia, there's something we have to go through, something that I call the funnel of love. Now, that funnel looks a lot like that funnel, quote unquote, that we would go through in a relationship. Now, chances are we've all been through these stages at one point or another in our life. So the funnel of love from a relationship standpoint looks like this. And I'm going to show you how it coincides to the funnel of love that you would take your customers through. We start at step one, attraction. I see you, you see me, we like what we see, right? In the business stage, we all call that engagement, right? We've got our eyes on each other, checking things out. Now, the second stage, I'm from the South, North Carolina to be exact. There's a thing in the South called courting. It's a wild and weird thing. It works in this sense. If you're not familiar with it, tweet me at Yarby, and I'll kind of explain to you the best that I can what courting is. But in the business stage, this looks like acquisition, right? We've got someone there. We've got them interested. The third stage, that stage where we land it, we make it official, right? It's Facebook official, it's LinkedIn official, whatever it is, dating. We've got a conversion, right? We've created that customer. We've taken them to that point to where they've entered into some form of relationship with us. That next stage, the fourth level of your funnel, is obsession, right? Business situation, brand champion, right? In the relationship stage, this is that land of bliss where no one can do anything wrong, right? We're here, we're together. I've got you, you've got me. Everything is perfect. Nothing can go wrong. Brand champion. They're going to sing your praises. They're going to create opportunities for you. They're going to introduce their friends to you. They're going to do business with you. And it's going to keep trickling down because you both are in this relationship and you're obsessed with one another. The last stage is that long-term relationship. We're in it for the long haul. Right, we've gone beyond brand champion. Now we're just going to do business because we like you, because what we have together works, and we're just going to continue forward in this business relationship. We've got it. We're there, right? So that's the funnel of love. But to get from attraction to long-term relationship, it takes some work, just like any relationship. And it's no different when it comes to building relationships with your customers. But thankfully, Nida and I are here to walk you through the process, like a couple of B2B relationship counselors.
All right, that's great, Jason. You know, everybody loves a good funnel in marketing and sales. So whether you're looking for love or maybe just a date to hang out with, AI has made finding your match super simple. Just think about the process of online dating. You have all these apps available to you, and you follow super simple steps. You create an ideal profile, you answer a couple of questions with your likes and dislikes and preferences. Then you wait a few minutes, let AI technology kick in to do its thing, and you're actually presented with tons of potential matches with ratings and scores so you could prioritize based on who you like and filter out those that you don't. And at the comfort of your own home or in your office or wherever you are, you can just swipe and wink or send a message to whoever you want to engage with. So the entire process has been made so simple to find love that the adoption of these sites has really skyrocketed. And it's not just online dating sites that are using AI, making our life so much easier. We're relying on AI every single day to provide us with recommendations to help us make smarter decisions faster, like what to watch on TV or what to buy online. And ways to find alternative paths to get to our destination faster. We use AI to help monitor patterns in our inboxes and our bank accounts to notify us of any odd behaviors without needing to monitor your bank statement every single second of the day. And these brands that are leveraging AI have customers for life because we, as consumers, are always looking for ways to save time and be more efficient. And being presented with options or surfacing recommendations to us based on data has made the entire decision-making process so simple and effective that it's now technologies that we just can't live without. And as a B2B marketer, incorporating AI in our tech stack is a complete game changer. Just like online dating apps, marketing and sales can leverage AI to build a stronger ideal customer profile to find your ideal match or customers that are going to become long-lasting partners. And leveraging AI to develop your ICP also allows you to be presented with recommendations of accounts to target in your ABM strategy. So just like online dating apps, you could discover a variety of accounts that have a high propensity to buy. You can find accounts that you might want to tap into in new markets to help drive growth and expansion. And you can also use AI to monitor and track buying signals and intent data to understand where accounts are in the buyer's journey and who's actually in market to buy. So just like the B2C world, B2B marketing and sellers are also looking for the ability to make smarter business decisions faster. And by leveraging AI to guide your ABM approach, your marketing and sales teams can be more effective and produce a stronger ROI to really help accelerate that revenue growth. But it all starts with understanding your customers, the ones that buy from you today. And you need to be able to build a strong, robust ICP or ideal customer profile by leveraging a lot more data than just your basic firmographics and demographics. So just like online dating, you need to use information beyond just your name and title and where you live. So traditionally, most customers or most businesses looking to do ABM are usually leveraging a lot of first-party data. It's whatever you already know. So basic information like industries, company sizes, maybe locations, and a couple of other simple data points. But what ends up happening is you end up casting a very wide net of accounts that you can target. And although they look very similar on the outside, these businesses can look completely different on the inside in terms of growth or the types of positions within the organization and how mature they are with their own tech stack. So when you build an ICP using AI, you have instant access to thousands of third-party data points to better understand your ideal customer. Insights like the company growth over time, hiring trends and the types of positions and departments that exist within an organization, what technologies they're using, their install base, are they showing third-party intent? Are they now on your website showing first-party intent? All of this information can be used to really focus and identify those accounts that have a higher propensity to buy from you. But the sweetest part of using AI for discovering your target accounts is the speed and accuracy that machine learning technology provides. So you're able to use a lot more data while saving a lot more time researching and just be presented with which accounts you should be targeting, along with having rates and data to help you further prioritize. It's like online dating meets the B2B world. But once you identify those right accounts and you run your promotions and offers to get people to respond, finding the right person that's going to convert could be pretty challenging. And you need to have data to validate who these people are entering your funnel and have insights to understand what exactly are they looking for. So when it comes to dating and finding love, it's a lot easier, right? Take The Bachelor, for instance. Here you have a bunch of ladies and one gentleman looking for love. Tons of applicants applied to be on the show. People vetted the profiles, conducted some interviews, and certain leads were selected to enter the funnel or the house. And then this bachelor guy gets to make his way around and nurture and engage with all of these leads in hopes to find the one. And when he finds the one and it works out great, they're happy and get married and have children and they live happily ever after forever, which is a beautiful story. Now let's talk about what happens in the marketing funnel. You promote an offer, an asset, people start responding and entering your funnel. You have all of this form information to use to score. And you start scoring and scoring in your marketing automation platform until that lead hits an MQL status, and then you pass them over to sales. Now, unlike The Bachelor, we don't have the luxury of seeing every single response that's entering our funnel. So you can have a great looking lead that does all the right actions, filled out all the right information, but is not even a lead at all. You can get completely catfished in the process. A lead that appears legit could be complete junk, or you could have a really good looking lead that just isn't in market and ready to buy. So by using AI to target accounts that match your ICP and using intent data to identify where accounts are in the buyer's journey and which ones might actually be looking for solutions, you're able to fuel your marketing funnel with a lot more leads that have a higher propensity to convert and are actually looking for solutions you're offering, which will then generate a lot more revenue for your business. But let's just say you find that good-looking lead, and you pass all those great-looking leads over to your sales reps. Now it's in the reps' court to really engage and turn dials into dollars, which isn't exactly the easiest thing to do, especially if your funnel is flooded with tons and tons of MQLs. So when it comes to finding love in a pool of prospective leads, the best approach is something like speed dating, right? And here it's so easy because you have like a bunch of people who are also looking for someone to engage with in a room. And you get to spend equal amounts of time engaging with every single person. And after your meeting, you jot down some notes, further qualify, and you decide whether or not there'll be a next date. But for a sales rep, they could have tons of leads in their queue, and they're expected to reach out to all of them. But where do they start? Some reps make their way down the list of leads just based on, time of response. Others might have a couple of additional information like what people were responding to, what their engagement score was, etc. But the conversion rates, no matter how you're prioritizing, really aren't as high as we'd like, right? So when you add AI to your lead flow and sales process, you can help your sales teams further prioritize and your marketing teams further prioritize contacts that should be engaged with first based on how closely they match to your profile and all of the intent signals that suggest they're actually in market to buy or have a business need that your solution can provide a resolution for. So there's no more random selection for follow-up. It's all data-driven, and that's where you're going to see pretty impactful results. So by putting AI in the hands of your marketing and sales teams, they're able to not only identify the right accounts, but they can prioritize the right accounts and spend more time targeting and engaging with the ones that matter more through programs and campaigns and whatnot, which at the end will result in substantial pipeline growth and revenue growth for your organization. So the business impact Mintigo customers are seeing is quite significant. We've seen customers report up to 6 times higher conversion rates by using AI to target and prioritize accounts in their ABM strategy. And because they're able to identify higher quality accounts, they're also able to generate larger deal sizes or opportunity value. But the one challenge still remains. It's being able to engage with the right people within the account and getting your brand and your message in front of the influencers and decision makers throughout the buyer's journey. And guess what? Sending an email just isn't enough. Just like online dating, you can find that perfect match, have the best date, and the conversation could be awesome, but then all of a sudden it goes stale. And we're left with one thought, right? Why won't they respond? Your marketing and sales teams can craft the most compelling message in the world, run all the right digital ads, create an amazing website experience. But if that doesn't get the attention of the buyer in the way that will get them to respond and actually engage, it could be wasted efforts. And this is why I'm so excited to do this webinar with PFL. Because guess what? Direct mail is coming back. And we've seen it work very, very well. So I'm going to hand it over to Jason now, or Yarby, to go into how direct mail can really help engage with the best buyers that come into your funnel.
Thanks, Nida. That's a perfect lead into why we play so well together in the space, because we can't do what we do without you doing what you guys do great. And I'll get into that here in a second. But to your point, why people aren't responding, to me really says that people are just overwhelmed and inundated with messaging, right? We get something around the lines of 3,500 marketing messages a day, right? Everything that we see is a marketing message now. We get on Facebook marketing messages. I was at a gas pump getting gas in North Carolina recently and got an ad at the gas pump for something happening in Oregon. So everything is a marketing message these days. Now with the meteoric rise of Spotify and Netflix, everyone's now expecting personalized, relevant experiences, right? These messages and experiences have to be personalized and relevant to them, thanks to all these other platforms. But as marketers, our tendency is to continue doing more of those messages, sending more of those messages out that aren't being responded to. So we're sending more of these things out, but also now we're automating these messages. So the answer isn't necessarily to send more. As you see here, scale is not a substitute for intimacy. I'm sure there's quite a few of you in here that remember the game Mario Brothers. I spent a large portion of my childhood playing this game, and when I was in this game, I was always looking for the warp zone. And I want to talk to you today about how you can find the warp zone in your marketing campaigns, right? It comes with your multi-channel plans. It's kind of the marketing buzzword these days, right? Multi-channel, omni-channel. Multi-channel works though. It gets around the inbox. It boosts the response rates by 4x, and it gives you a more complete view of your customers, just like Nada was talking about. Right, and that warp zone that we're talking about is this funnel here on the end, the email and direct mail. So some of the numbers we're seeing right now, if you're looking at just this first tunnel, email, right, you get about a 1% response rate. That's okay if you're into lower numbers, and it works. It gets people in. Then you go to the second tunnel, you go a little bit further, you get direct mail, you get a 6% response rate if you're just doing direct mail alone. That means you're not coincided with email, you're not coincided with phone calls, you're just batch and blasting, as we call it here at PFL, direct mail. That third tunnel, though, that's the warp zone. That's what we're looking for to get to that eighth world, that eighth stage, that end, right? Email and direct mail is where the magic happens. That's where you're accelerated and warped into your journey. Email and direct mail, when you combine those and you truly orchestrate those efforts to work together, meaning what happens on one channel directly reflects on what happens on the next channel. What we're seeing here at PFL is north of a 20% response rate when you work those two together and coincide some phone calls, maybe some other campaigns, right? So that's the warp zone we're looking for. And why does the warp zone work? Curiosity. Curiosity is why the warp zone works. Because we all want to know what's in the box, right? Think about it. You order something from Amazon. I've been ordering a lot from Amazon because I've got a baby coming. I've got a lot of things coming to our house. Even though I ordered the box, the package from Amazon, I still get excited when I see that box on my front porch, right? Because I have a natural curiosity to know what's in the box. I want to open it. We call that at PFL the mail moment. When you go to the mail, whether you open your mailbox or whether you go to your front porch and you see something in there, you see something waiting for you, that moment, that's when you stop for maybe 3, 4, 5 minutes, maybe less, but you stop, you take the time to open the box, open the letters, see what's in there to get that element of engagement from something that you were either expecting or not expecting. That's the curiosity that we're all looking for, and that's the curiosity that's going to lead you down that warp zone in your marketing campaigns. And you're not alone, right? 57% of people claim that receiving mail makes them feel more valued. Honestly, I'm surprised that number is that low. I feel like it should be north of like 99.9%, right? Because if I send you a letter, if I send you a postcard from somewhere, which I do still send postcards, you feel a little bit of value of getting that piece of mail. If I ever send you a box with a candy bar in it, you'd feel value because you got something. right? 57% of people claim that receiving mail makes them feel more valued. And what we're after here is to make our customers and our clients and prospects feel more valued. So let's talk about the love of unboxing for a second. 3 or 4 of the top 10 YouTube channels on youtube.com are kids reviewing toys and unboxing these things. So that means 4 of your top 10, they're talking about unboxing these things. Even kids these days have a love of unboxing. What I love about this particular video is that that's an adult hand. Like, why is there an adult hand reviewing kids' toys and get 2.3 million views? Anyway, kids get it. They love unboxing things. They love getting what's in the box. They're getting trained at an early age. One of the tactile marketing campaigns that I love most is from a company called McDonald's. Right? I think we're all familiar with McDonald's. The one tactile marketing campaign that I love from them is the Happy Meal. They spend more of their marketing dollars on the Happy Meal alone because they know that if they can get a kid excited about their brand and their value that they offer them, they got them for life. So they're putting these boxes in their hands because they have that curiosity of what toy is going to be in the box. They create an experience around this box, and they get them an unboxing experience. So that kids are getting excited about McDonald's from the age of 3, 4, 5 years old, and that lasts throughout their life, and McDonald's gets it. So next time you're thinking about direct mail, you can think about PFL as being McDonald's serving Happy Meals to adults. During the Super Bowl, FedEx aired a commercial that almost caused me to get up out of my couch and applaud them for sending this video, because I wish that we would have made this video and put it out ourselves, but they perfectly captured and articulated the experience that PFL provides our customers by sending out these boxes, sending out these experiences, right? I'm gonna do something a little bit different than you might experience during a webinar. I'm actually gonna show you this video.
What's inside? A moment of joy, a source of inspiration, an act of kindness. What will it bring? An old friend, a new beginning, some welcome relief, or a cause for celebration. The help you've been looking for. What's inside? Possibilities, what we deliver by delivering.
I love that. Imagine the possibilities. Imagine the experiences you can create with your customers by simply sending them a box. Simply sending them a box with some value inside of it. Some value that you know is important to them because you've done your research, you've done the work to understand the data of what they need to receive in order for them in their buyer's journey and their buyer's experience. Right? PFL, we get this. We strategically send all of our boxes in a FedEx box. It's got a FedEx label, a FedEx box, something that has the recognition that it's coming from FedEx. So we put these boxes on their desk to create that mail moment. They recognize it with the FedEx label. They open it. You've got them stop for 3, 4, 5 minutes of their time. When was the last time one of your marketing campaigns were able to stop someone for that amount of time and have that much attention? But getting to that point where you can stop them for 3, 4, 5 minutes of their time is not going to be easy. As my boy Ryan here says, it's going to be really hard. Just like relationships. Relationships take work. Right? Getting your customers to go through that funnel of love is going to take some work. And it looks kind of like this. The first part of that work is exactly what Nida was talking about, is knowing your type and building the best personas ever that you can pass over to your team, to your sales team, in order to create the most success for them. Right? There's a number of tools we use here at PFL to get to this point. Right? Because we know that in order to send the right package to the right person at the right time requires knowing all that proper data. Right? You wouldn't go into a relationship without knowing who your type is, right? If you've ever been in a destructive relationship, you understand the beauty of knowing your type. So we got to do that work for our customers as well to get to that utopian land of happily ever after. Some of you might recognize this screen, might recognize this logo. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what it is. But in order to get to this point with your customers of being that perfect match, there's still a bit more work to do. But thankfully, people like Mintigo are here to make that possible and to provide that help to you. The next part of that is clean data. Right? Finding your type requires accurate data and insights, or else you get the Tudiana that Nida was just talking about in your flow, right? You get catfished. Right? It's important to know your type. It's important to know a few things about the person that you're going out on a date with, right? You might want to know their name. You might want to know what they look like. You might want to know, what they do, what interests them, a few things that might be of relevance to an actual relationship. Same thing applies to when you're sending out direct mail and you're creating these marketing campaigns and these buyer's journeys. You want to know a few things about the people that you're serving your ads to, people that you're sending these direct mail pieces to. Are they the right people? Are they the decision makers? Are they champions? Are they still at the company? That's kind of an important one that you're going to want to know. So it takes work. This is a nice modern day graph of how long it takes to fall in love based on social media. I actually found this online and found it quite humorous, only because I have gone through this funnel as well myself. I remember when my wife and I started dating. It was about 4 years ago to the day, and I first slid into her DMs on Twitter. Right? Some of you understand that relevance. We DM'd for a while on Twitter. We tweeted back and forth, did the whole thing. Then finally got her number, was able to text message with her, asked her out. Then it became cute little Facebook messages. We kind of blew past the email part, went straight to phone calls. But then I can still remember to the day where I asked her if we could FaceTime, right? It's a big step in modern day relationships, right? But I love this because it's kind of, I look at an orchestrated journey, right, of how long it takes to fall in love. Because here at PFL, we often talk about orchestrating your channels, how to build that sweet marketing harmony. And I mentioned this earlier, you're creating those triggers for personalization that based off, you create these actions, what happens on one channel directly reflects what happens on the next. So I was tweeting my wife for a while, we were DMing, then we were text messaging, then we were, calling each other, and then we hit that point where we were FaceTiming. And then from then on out, we had a pretty serious relationship. Not to say that FaceTime is what's going to make you have a serious relationship, but getting to that point where it was personalized to that level certainly helped. And that's what we want to see here at PFL happen, is that you can create these triggers that base the relationship building with your customers through orchestration. So what happens with your emails directly reflects what happens with that next phone call, directly reflects what happens with that next direct mail send. Rinse, wash, and repeat. Orchestrating your channels is super important in your ABM strategy and your direct mail strategies. So every relationship has its rhythms, right? We all know what these rhythms are. We know what they feel like. We all know where we are in each stages of those relationships. And in our case, those rhythms of relationships are examples from our ABM programs and how we help you in different scenarios and cases throughout your marketing efforts. That very first rhythm of a relationship is, I think, all too familiar with all of us, right? You go on that first date, it went really good. The next thing you ask yourself is, when do I call? Or nowadays, when can I text? Or when do I slide into her DMs? Like, when is the next time I make contact? At PFL, we say before you even get to that step, make sure you have your leads and your calls warmed up. So it's never too soon or too late if you have a warmed up lead, right? So multi-channel warm up with the follow-up call is where we specialize. With this particular campaign here, with this particular example with NetGain Technologies, what we did with these guys, we created some whiskey rocks for them. They're a company based out of Kentucky, so they want to do something relevant to Kentucky, so whiskey, right? We all know whiskey coming out of Kentucky. So we created these branded NetGain Technologies whiskey rocks, put them in the bag, sent a personalized letter to each person, and said, hey, Doug, jump on this call with me, and I'll send you a bottle of NetGain Technologies whiskey. You can see it's a bottle of Woodford Reserve that we had branded for them, and if Doug jumped on that call with NetGain Technologies to do a demo, Doug was shipped a bottle of whiskey that had a NetGain Technologies brand message on it. I mean, let's be honest. I think we're all going to maybe take that call or even make that call if you're getting something out of it before I've even called you or emailed you. Doug receives his package. He stops for 3-4 minutes, gets it, some whiskey rocks. It would stop me. I'm a fan of whiskey. So I see the rocks. I think it's a great play. I want the bottle of whiskey. It's like all of a sudden I have a use for it. I'm gonna get on the phone with NetGain Technologies. I'm gonna take that demo, maybe get some value out of it, and get me a bottle of whiskey. This particular campaign for NetGain Technologies had a 22% conversion rate. That next stage in the rhythms of relationship that we all try to avoid is the ghosting, right? If you're not familiar with what that is, it means to abruptly cut off all contact with someone by no longer accepting or responding to phone calls, messages, etc. I think we've all been there in our sales process and our marketing stages, right? They just disappear. Happens on a daily basis, right? We all know what this is in our buyer journey, right? They just all of a sudden go away. Wherever they go, we don't know. But what PFL does is we help you eliminate that. We help you keep from getting ghosted, right? With this particular campaign, we worked with a company called Invoca. Invoca has an ROI calculator that they try to push their customers to use and really figure out what the ROI of their products and campaigns are. Right, maybe someone goes to Invoca.com and uses their ROI calculator online. They don't quite convert to a customer. Invoca sends them out a package. Right, they open this package up. It's got the little personalized note card here to help them figure out what their ROI is, an actual calculator, a pen, and this Amazon gift card. That's not actually a real Amazon gift card yet. What happens is you flip that over again. Hey, Doug, love to talk to you about Invoca and how we can help you calculate your ROI. Jump on a call with me and I'll send you the real $50 gift card. Right, that's how you keep somebody engaged, keep them coming back, and keep them as a new customer or a growing customer. Right, you want to keep them engaged, give them something, make them feel valued. In this case, they're giving them some real value by helping them improve their ROI. Along the same lines, we're giving them a $50 gift card. I actually just got served the same play here recently by one of my partner companies. They asked me to do something. They enticed me with the $50 gift card. I had the fear of loss. They gave me something that looked like it was an Amazon gift card, didn't have it. So guess what? I followed up, did the call, did the review, got the $50 gift card. Use it for baby gifts. It was perfect. Right now I know who those guys are. I keep them top of mind. They've got a brand champion. Invoca, this particular campaign went incredibly successful. They had a 1,500% ROI. Now, whether you're good at math or not, 1,500% ROI is incredible, right? We all know that to be great. That's what we're all looking for. So I'm telling you right now, putting these boxes with these gifts and these values on people's desks and stopping them for 3 to 5 minutes pays off immensely for you and your team. Another rhythm of relationship here is when we get to that final stage, right? Everything has been going great. We're madly in love, and now we want to put a ring on it, right? We're talking about closing high value accounts here, and particularly targeting multiple personas within that account, right? It's all about strategy here. When I asked my wife to marry me, I didn't just go and ask her. I asked her grandparents, asked her dad, her mom, her sister, anybody that was close to her, if I could have their daughter's hand, their friend, their sister's hand in marriage. I wanted to make sure that I had support of everyone around her before I went straight to her to make the ask. And with InsideSales.com, we did the same thing, right? So the C levels, we did this whole San Francisco football play. If you're familiar with football, San Francisco has a team called the 49ers. They used to have one of the best quarterbacks in the land called Steve Young, right? He's a god in San Francisco. So what we did was made a football play because it was all geo-targeted to San Francisco. With this play, all the C-level executives got an autographed Steve Young football called Steve Young. It's God, everybody knows him. It's a real football. And for everyone else, the A's, BDRs, CSMs, people on the ground, we sent boxes of little Nerf footballs. All right, so we got the support of everyone within the company, so that when C-level Steve is walking through the aisles, he sees Doug with his InsideSales.com football and talks to Doug about what he knows about InsideSales.com. Doug tells Steve. Steve takes a call from Inside Sales, says, "Okay, you've got our attention. What now?" So we're targeting multiple personas within your accounts. This particular campaign, we helped them 6x their pipeline in just 2 weeks, with a 15% conversion rate in that time. The last one here, when we get to that utopian fairy tale land of happily ever after, is we build advocates. I think too often as sales teams and marketers, we get obsessed, and rightly so, but we get obsessed with acquiring new customers. But we make the grave mistake, in my opinion, of forgetting about our current customers and how we can grow that business and how we can win new business from those customers and create new champions within that company. Right, we go back to the case of Invoca. Right, Invoca's got one champion who's using that product and using it well. How do we take that person and replicate them and multiply them? How do we incentivize that one champion to create more champions? Using direct mail. Next time you have a champion within a current company, think about sending them a direct mail piece. Maybe as simple as this little coffee play here. Hey Doug, next coffee is on us. Here's a mug. Here's some caramels. Treat your coworkers around you some caramels. Enjoy the light reading material about tactile marketing automation, some ideas. Hope we get a chance to talk soon. Let me know if I can do anything to help you. Right? Doug feels valued because out of nowhere you've just sent him a nice package with a mug. Right? I had a company send me a glass water bottle. It's as simple as a glass water bottle, but I use it every single day now. It sits on my desk. People ask me who it is and what it's about. I'm able to tell them about how I'm using their service. Right? They're creating a champion out of me. And that's when you get to that utopian land of happily ever after. When you get to that relational bliss when no one can do any wrong. And you're creating brand champions and advocates who are going out and talking about you and doing the work for you on your behalf. And that's what it takes to take your customers from that stage of attraction to a long-term relationship. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed the experience. If you have any questions at all, feel free to drop them over in the side. I'll let Eva take it from here. And thank you guys for your attention today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nida and Yarby, for this awesome webinar. I personally wrote down PFL mailers are the Happy Meals for adults. I've never heard that before, but I was somebody who did have a lot of Happy Meals as a child, and I appreciate chicken nuggets at 2 a.m. now. So I feel like I'm kind of in that group, and so that really personally resonated with me, so thank you. We're going to go ahead and wrap up with a couple of questions before we conclude this webinar. A few that came in during the presentation today. The first one is from Jackie, and this is a question for Nida. What advice would you give to marketers who are trying AI for account building or targeting, but maybe aren't getting the results that they want or they're looking for? What are some easy things to look into to try to troubleshoot that?
That's a really, really good question. You sort of have to think of AI and predictive modeling like any other marketing program and campaign. You have to track and monitor performance and then optimize based on results and learning. So let's start with that target account list. Now, if you're using AI to build a list for ABM, there are ways to test and make sure your model is strong and could hold true before you even use that list in any program or execute any campaign. So what you would do with this is simply take a list of recent opportunities that were created or recent closed won opportunities, run it against that predictive model, and see how many of those accounts score or rank high and how many score and rank on the lower scale. And if you see a larger proportion of accounts in the higher range of scores, that'll suggest that your model is strong and that your ICP is very strong as well. So when you run that test and you see that distribution, and if that distribution is completely off, so all of your recent opportunities, they're a mix of high scores as well as low scores, that's an indication that there could be something wrong with your model and your ICP is just weak. So similar to online dating, right, the profile you build, the preferences you provide will determine the recommendations. So if you're seeing a weak model, go back and look at the data you used to actually optimize your model. So if, for example, you used all opportunities created to train your model, and then you're measuring all closed won, start by looking at the target account list and build a couple of different variations of models. Go back and test recent opportunities to see, how strong that model is, and that'll help you determine whether or not you have a strong ICP and if that list is worth, targeting in ABM. Now, let's just say you have an amazing list. Everybody's on board with the target accounts, but you aren't seeing that lift. You aren't seeing the results you want when it comes to pipeline generation or closed won. If you have a great list, but your program is not doing that well, you have to go back and look at the tactics and channels and messaging that you're using. So, one thing to do is look at the audience you're going after and how personalized your messaging is. Generic messages are probably not going to yield great response rates. So being more targeted and using the insights to help guide a message that will resonate with your target accounts is a great thing to do. And more importantly, if you're only relying on email sends, then that's also a very, very big problem. So mix up your channels, but really more importantly, use AI to help guide what your message should be and when you should engage. And that's what's really going to drive some impactful results. So I would look at your strongest, the quality of your ICP as well as channels as well.
The next question is from Alex. What are some common trigger examples, and I love feedback from both of you, of people using AI to trigger direct mail send? So how do you use that AI to kind of guide people through the funnel like you had showed us, Yarby?
Sure. Like, I think the easiest and first and foremost for me to talk about is, what actions have your customers taken during their process of engagement, right? Maybe they downloaded an ebook and you see they're engaged in that certain type of content or that ebook, and you've created some direct mail piece that coincides with the content of that ebook. And you want to keep them engaged because chances are maybe I downloaded an ebook but really haven't had a chance to read it all yet. Maybe I've read a couple, 2 or 3 pages, and you send a direct mail piece out that gets them thinking about that ebook again, right? So you've got them thinking about your brand, that message, and that campaign. Or perhaps they've engaged with an email, or they haven't engaged with an email. Based off those actions alone, you can trigger a direct mail send or a simple webhook in Marketo. Let's say you send an email within 2 or 3 days, they haven't responded to it. You send another one. Maybe they clicked, maybe they didn't. You can send a direct mail piece that also coincides alongside that email, right? Because chances are they've seen your company, your name. Maybe they saw the email and it's in their inbox. They just didn't read it. But you'll still be able to send a direct mail piece and create that brand awareness after the fact that they've seen those emails.
Yeah, I think like looking at engagement within your marketing automation or CRM system is a great trigger to use, but then also using intent data, which is a very, very hot topic right now. Everybody's talking about getting intent data, but you need to use it in the right way. So if you knew that there's businesses out there that are starting to research for technologies or research for solutions your business offers, that's a great trigger to actually use to send like a mid-funnel type of offer through direct mail, because these are businesses online researching. And if you also have that kind of first level intent data coming into play to know these are people that are searching online, but now they're also exploring my website, being able to identify which accounts are in this consideration stage is another really good trigger to use. So I've seen that work really, really well, is using intent for timing of when to engage and actually like, using that kind of field to trigger a webhook or call the webhook to actually send records over to PFL or, put them in a program to send more bottom of funnel assets.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. It makes me think of that NetGain Technologies campaign that we were talking about with the Whiskey Rocks, right? If you know that they have an intent to buy some sort of technology that you're selling, go ahead and put them into a warm-up campaign before you even start emailing or calling them. That intent data would be a perfect play for such a warm-up campaign, right? And then even there's the Invoca play, right? They've downloaded, requested a demo, downloaded something. You've got that information data. They have some sort of level of interest. Start, warming them up at that point as well.
Yeah, I think you can also use some of that like intent and competitive data to maybe win customers back. So if you have accounts in Salesforce that maybe have closed lost opportunities, and you see like AI is telling you that they actually are using the competitor, but you know that closed loss date is approaching soon, so maybe their renewal date is approaching soon, and then you see this intent data suggesting that they're back in market. That's like the best type of time, or the best time to actually launch a direct mail campaign, is to kind of do like a win back as well. So a lot of different ways to use both third-party and first-party intent signals.
Absolutely.
Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and ask one more question. This one's from Jeffrey, and I'm going to paraphrase a little bit. His question is around basically the idea of too much personalization or too much leveraging of data to target your prospect or your future customer. Another thing that is very common in dating is the creepers. And so how do you avoid kind of getting that creeper status? Like, how do you make sure that it's not too personalized?
Sure, I can take this one. I have heard of a few examples where companies have sent people gifts based on what they have seen people talking about online, whether it be social media, blogs, or whatever. And they've even taken it a next level where someone posted something about what their kids like, and a company has sent something that their kids like. While that's nice and thoughtful, I think it's kind of creepy to think that you're looking that far into my world and my life to send me a gift,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think it's best when you, the company, Invoca, create something that's relevant to your brand, but also relevant to the buyer, right? Buyer comes on Invoca.com, create some sort of action. You send them a gift that's relevant to both of you. You keep control of your brand message, but you're also able to send something that is useful and valuable to the buyer, right? But still personalized, still engaging. The Amazon gift card play in that as well is a great example of that. Who doesn't love shopping on Amazon? Right? You can take it to the point where it's not creepy by involving their personal life. Because if you're a company and you send me something that involves my personal life without asking me,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to feel a bit invasive.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think if somebody sent me an offer that, was something that my son really enjoys, I would be pretty creeped out myself. That's going a little bit too far.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Nida and Jason, for joining us on our webinar today. For those of you listening in, we will be sending this out at the conclusion of this event. And if there are any additional questions that were not answered, we will ensure that we follow up via email. So thank you so much again, and enjoy your day.